Okay, so I just want to quickly go over the trade that I decided not to take. In hindsight, probably could have taken. Um, and yeah, so I came into this morning actually bullish originally because we were trading up in like this range here at that point. Um, but obviously, as you can see, the daily's bullish order flow. This morning, prior to this candle, I mean, again, you got to remember this candle was up here at like, I mean, at what time? Like 9:15, we were up there at one point. So um, the 4 hour was bullish until like 15 minutes before market open. And then obviously at 10 a.m. it closed bearish, and that's where I decided, okay, I'm going to switch my bias to bears because we had the 4 hour and the 1 hour that both disrespected bullish order flow. And so once I decided on that, I was looking for sells. One of the things I didn't like about this trade, but is not the thing that stopped me from taking it, was the draw on liquidity was not the greatest. I didn't love that it wasn't like for instance, we had already tapped into this 4 hour fair value gap here. Had we not done that yet, then it would have been a nicer draw, but we already had. So I was like, ooh, I don't really like that. Um, Essentially, the draw ended up just being like this 5 minute low that we hadn't taken yet, and we wicked right above it with this candle. That was the draw on liquidity I had. So it wasn't the greatest draw again. That's one of the reasons, but not the reason I didn't take the trade. If that was the only reason, I would have been in here. The ultimate reason I didn't take the trade, and it was legitimately just because my risk reward. Now you could see it's a 1 to 1.05, and that's why I'm saying I could have taken this trade in hindsight. Because I typically put my take profit where my draw is, like exactly where it is. I could have given it some leeway here and just made it a 1 to 1, put it a little bit underneath, and okay, voila, my rules are being followed. So that's what I should have done. Obviously, in hindsight, you could see it played out nicely. But I was just targeting here, and because it was less than a 1 to 1, I decided against taking this trade. But that was the only reason I didn't trade, or I didn't enter into this trade, and it ended up playing out nicely. So again, once order flow shifted bearish, I was looking for sells. We tapped into this 15-minute fair value gap with this candle here, so that was my higher time frame PD array, and then you could see we swept this high here, right? Boom, swept it, distributed nicely, left a fair value gap, two fair value gaps behind. Would have entered off of this one, and as you can see, we continued lower to the draw that I had in mind. So would have been a nice 1 to 1 had I taken it again. Next time, I think I should have been a little bit more lenient with my take profit. Right, had it like around here. Psychology wise, I'm feeling okay. I'll be honest. I have a lot on my mind right now. I have a phone call with a company today that I'm hoping to, continue the interview process with them. So I was, prepping for that a little bit this morning while trying to trade. So I had, I have quite a few things in my mind right now. So school related and job search related. So I'm not blaming that, but I'm just saying that. It definitely, I'm not gonna pretend that it's not a factor in trading, right? Like extracurricular things that are happening. But at the end of the day, I have to learn how to deal with those because I'm going to be working next year after I graduate, and I'm going to need to learn how to manage multiple things around my trading. So I can't use it as too much of an excuse. Otherwise, I just won't be able to trade at all, because next year I'm going to have some responsibilities at work that I'm going to have to manage on top of trading. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to pretend that it's not something that factors in. So, but yeah, biggest reason I didn't take this trade again was the RR wasn't a 1 to 1 exactly. In hindsight, could have been a little bit more lenient with it, and that's about it. Happy with the way I adjusted my bias. Again, from bulls to bears, a lot of people, they would chase this. They'd say, they stick with the initial bias on the day, and they're looking at this and they're saying, oh, well, okay, we swept this low here, so, sure, we broke structure, but we swept this low, so I was bullish before. I'm going to stay bullish. Oh, we tapped into here, cool. And that's the problem, right? Is it possible that we end up, sweeping this and continuing higher? For sure. But the trend is your friend, and I'm going to follow order flow. And order flow is showing bearishness, so I was looking for sells, and that would have been a nice setup there. So